Hey everybody, News Now Wyoming here with, we're going to do a breakdown of this video. Now I must admit, this is about the 5th time I've attempted to record this video. I tend to curse when I watch this, and I don't really want that in this video. So we're going to try to do this 6th take without cursing while talking about it. This should be a legal analysis of the actual interaction itself. And yeah, so these videos I have taken off where we are going to be showing them directly from Not Texas Sheepdog 88, which is Jack Miller, the person in question here. I have already done a couple videos on his lawsuit and the police response to his lawsuit, so you can definitely check those out if you would like to see what action is being taken at this time. But let's go ahead and check this out.
San Angelo 911.
There's this guy, I think he's in Walmart right now, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure he's on drugs though. He's got a kid in the car. And he's, harassing people in the parking lot. So I just wanted to let you know.
Okay, so this is obviously the 911 call that brought them to his attention. And so you hear him say, hey, we're gonna... There's a man here, I believe he's on drugs or up on something, and he's harassing our customers.
He's inside right now. Give you his license plate though.
Is his license Hispanic?
He's white, about 5'9", curly brown hair.
What's he wearing?
I didn't pay much attention to the best of my memory though. I think it's a regular t-shirt and jeans.
And you believe he's intoxicated?
He was acting like it, yeah. He was backing up, almost backed into someone in the parking lot. And
How old is the kid?
he couldn't have been more than 3 or 4. Maybe 3.
And what kind of vehicle did he come in?
It is a Chevy Equinox,
What color?
black.
And the license plate on it?
Delta, Romeo, and I forget the one for the Y, but it's Y. 2951.
Which Walmart are you at?
Not physically, the one on,
South Front?
yeah. He's in the far right corner of the parking lot near the pickup. And he's got his back windshield busted out.
But he's inside the store.
What's that?
But he's currently inside the store.
Yeah. He grabbed the kid and went inside.
What is your name?
Tim?
Okay. And do you want to meet with an officer, Tim?
I'm kind of in a rush. I was kind of hoping to let you guys know just in case there was another complaint or something.
Okay.
Okay, so really quick on this call, this became an anonymous complaint. No real complainant. No evidence about any wrongdoing. That should be taken into account and anything else further. But as Jack asked here in this video, what made the employee think about asking the driver if the driver is drunk?
I will let my officers know about him. Thank you.
No, we're looking for the person operating it.
Oh, that's driving that?
Yeah.
You want them to ask if they can check cameras? You should still be here as far as here. Is he like a drunk driver or something?
We don't know, but that's the call, yeah. Maybe drunk, may have a child with him.
Yeah. We've seen somebody that's operating a speaker driver, so.
So why would the employee assume that he's drunk? Jack thinks that the employee himself is the 911 caller. Don't have enough information to go off of. Again, this was an anonymous complaint. Didn't leave a real name, or okay, could be really his name really is Tim, but didn't leave enough to go off of and refused to stick around to talk to the officers to give his actual statement firsthand. So the officers don't have anything to go off of at this point, except an anonymous complaint.
You want to go inside? I'll wait here.
Okay, so we're going to skip ahead to the video with this officer that is going to go inside and will be the first to contact.
How was it, please tell me? Okay. It says that he has brown curly hair and tells it. Unknown description on it.
Okay, so this is Jack speeding up the video. I'm going to go ahead. So they go around the corner, and there he is. I hope this audio is loud enough.
We've got calls that someone's out here harassing people, and they may be drunk. You haven't had anything to drink tonight, nothing like that? Nothing? No, I'm good. Oh, they said that someone, what kind of vehicle do you drive? You haven't had anything to drink today, or anything like that? You just getting off work or something? Okay. Jack Wood.
So this is Jack editorializing with the comments here, not me. He doesn't have to give him his ID.
I don't think you understand what it's not. You can tell us what is what. So. Look, we're not trying to hang you up or anything. We're trying to make sense of what's going on because someone's telling us that someone's possibly driving drunk with a.
Okay, an anonymous caller is calling to complain about you, Jack. So you best bow down and behave, alright? You better listen to every word that they say because they are the police and they deserve your and demand your respect. So Jack, as you are watching this, just bow down, kiss their boots, and listen to them, okay? Do not question them again. Okay, let me do a disclaimer. If you guys can't tell, that is sarcasm.
Kyle was calling. They gave us your vehicle and a description of you. It said that he had brown curly hair and tells it. Unknown description on it. They gave us your vehicle and a description of you. Okay. So, I mean, you can either make this long, drawn-out and difficult and keep your son out here and keep all your groceries. Do what? I'm not drunk. I don't know that. You mean all you did is tell me that? Well, we're trying to verify who you are.
Okay, so I do want you guys to notice that for the record, the only way to prove that you were drunk or are not drunk is by providing your ID. No other way is there to prove that you are not drunk. He's not acting drunk. He's not acting belligerent here. But that is the only way to prove that you aren't drunk is by providing them your ID. Okay? Just like any other time that they ask for the ID, the only way that they can prove that you aren't committing a crime is by providing them your ID.
Making that difficult. It's not that hard to hand over an ID.
It's not that hard for me to do a couple of days.
You know, I need to drink or anything, but I don't.
I mean, knowing I'm forced to ID myself, that's okay.
Or you. Do you have any ID on you?
I do have an ID.
Yeah, please see your ID. Just to verify who you are.
Well, if you're taking in what? Well, basically it is. That's what I am. But sometimes I feel like so people like that. Okay? As soon as I want to verify who you are, go about your day, go about our day, and we'll be done. That is the best thing.
So go about our days and we'll be done.
Play their people. And immediately I want to leave. Okay, this is a more complicated subject. Okay, so what's probably going to happen is it hasn't been explained to you already. Unless you identify yourself as this legal investigation, you're going to be arrested for failure to ID. You listen to me. And then we're
Okay, you're going to be arrested for failure to ID, is what he said. So let's go ahead. Let's look at Texas Penal Code 3802. 3802A. A person commits an offense if he intentionally refuses to give his name, residence, address, or date of birth to a peace officer who has lawfully arrested the person and requested the information. So you commit an offense if you've been lawfully arrested and they request the information. Now others keep pointing down here to number 2. Lawfully detain the person. Like, okay, I give in, you're right, if they are lawfully detained, they are breaking the law for not providing their name. Oh, but wait, that's not the way, you don't go from A to B2 without reading B first, okay? So let's clarify what that says. B, a person commits an offense if he intentionally gives a false or fictitious name, residence, address, or date of birth to a peace officer who has lawfully detained the person. So this only applies if you give a false name. He correctly stated his name is Jack. That is not a lie. That is not in dispute. He did not have to provide that much, but he did that out of the kindness of his own heart and to move the conversation along. However, he did not provide a false name, and so B2 does not apply. He may be lawfully detained. That's questionable, but at this right now at this moment, that's questionable if he's actually detained. But okay, let's pretend he is. He's detained at this point. He still has not committed an offense under 3802 by refusing to give his name. Once again, you only commit an offense if you intentionally refuse to give your name after a peace officer who has lawfully arrested the person. So they have to arrest you first. In Texas, it is extremely clear in this language of the law that you only commit an offense if you refuse to give your name and you've been arrested. Lawfully arrested. Here in a second they're going to, well, let's not do a spoiler.
Okay, so now you're correct. You're ID. You said you take my identification. And I got, I mean, well, if you have one particular problem with that, then you have to identify yourself. And you can't keep.
Okay, so he points out 3802, like I just did, so that's all right.
So you're going to be.
Oh, I guess I shouldn't. So, if you didn't hear that, he said, I only have to identify myself after you've arrested me. So I said, okay, you're under arrest. And then this is what happens. Notice the chokehold on his neck.
Okay, right there. Turn around. Put the hand on the
Okay, he is up against the cooler.
Baby, it's okay. Ow! What are you doing?
He's resisting. Does he look like he's resisting right now? 3 of them are holding him. One by the neck there, and pushing his neck against the cooler. So the officer calls him a dumbass, and then they once again push him against it. They're pushing really hard. Look at that. It takes two of them to hold his head against that cooler.
Hey, where's the guy? He's fine.
A little late for that, isn't it? Not very bright, are you?
Yep. Keyword is after. Okay, so let me break that down for you really quick. Let's pretend a cop watches you break into a car. And then a cop watches you try to hotwire that car. And then the cop walks up to you and says, hey, you are under arrest for breaking into this car and hotwiring it. You are now lawfully arrested. And then he says, what is your name? And you refuse to give him your name. You have now committed an offense under 3802(1). Okay? So, he arrested you. He told you you're under arrest for a lawful arrest. Because he had probable cause to believe that you committed the offense that he is arresting you for. Because he watched you do it. In this case, what they've got is an anonymous complaint. Not the cops actually witnessing a crime of any sort. An anonymous complaint about Jack being drunk and belligerent in the parking lot and harassing customers. And he's got a 3-year-old with him. That is what they've got. Now, cops cannot arrest you based off of somebody else's word without more than just that. Now, the Walmart employee did offer to get the video for him, and I would love to know what the video actually shows of what happened in that parking lot. I would really love to see that. So, Jack, if you guys get it during your lawsuit, share that my way anonymously if you have to. I would love to actually add that on to one of my videos. But you do see that it's very clear that under 3802, that only applies after you've been lawfully arrested. Let's actually go back to that. Lawfully arrested somebody. They have to do that with probable cause that that person has committed a crime. So, is he lawfully arrested at this point for violating 3802A? No. No, he is not. And so yeah, they are pulling his arm back. Now they search him. They illegally search him. Look how my arm doesn't bend that way. Jack's a little bit younger than I am by a few years. Okay, quite a few years. But I don't think at my age my arm would have been able to bend that way.
You said your name was Zach? You said Zach.
Yeah, boy.
You said Zach. You said Zach? Okay.
Ooh! So do notice that this fat cop here, this stupid cop here, okay, sorry, shouldn't demean his weight. This is a health problem for him, not something I should be actually criticizing him or making fun of him. But this fat cop here tried to bust him because he misheard what was said and tried to say that, no, you said your name was Zach, not Jack. So now he could have been busted. Again, was he detained at that time? They didn't tell him he was detained. They asked if they could ask him questions. So I would still say, even if he did say Zach, which he didn't, that he didn't commit a crime because he wasn't lawfully detained at that moment. a cop walking up to you and saying, hey, can I ask you some questions, does not make a detainment. And there are plenty of cases where people say, I was detained by a cop, and then the courts have turned around and said, no, you weren't detained, he was just asking you questions. So there's cases that actually protected cops that show that you were not detained when you thought you were. So in this case, all they did was walk up to him and say, let me ask you some questions. And then they said, what's your name? And he said, my name is Jack. But if he had said Zach, he still wouldn't have committed an offense, because I don't believe that the argument could be really made that he was detained at that time. So notice that this total stranger is in here with his son. So how comfortable would you feel leaving your son with a complete stranger? Some Walmart employee. Somebody, yeah, no, I would have a major issue with that, and wouldn't happen. But let's fast forward some. Okay, so there is a female officer that just pulls up on scene. She becomes important here in a minute. They put him in the car. We're going to fast forward some. So he gets in there. We're going to fast forward some more. Okay, I do want you to notice, though, that there were 3 cops on the scene that thought, not counting this female, because she really doesn't know a lot of what's going on. So there were 3 cops inside for his arrest under 3802. So 3 cops all thought it was legal for him to be arrested. So is that a training issue? Or is that that the city is responsible for? Because I think it is. I think that under Monell, I think that clearly falls under the training that they should have received. Now, there's a lot of case law, and in their lawsuit they actually admit that it was clearly established that they could not arrest him for that. So they've admitted that it was clearly established at the time. So why is this so important? Why am I going to rehash it here when I've already done that on another video? Because that is very important. I do believe that the city should be brought into this lawsuit, added on as an additional defendant, because 3 officers thought it was okay for this man to be arrested, when it is extremely clear since 1979 that you cannot arrest somebody for failure to ID unless you have probable cause. And this is the national level for ID, okay? Not Texas made it even stricter, but the national level in 1979, decided by the Supreme Court in Brown versus Texas, states that you have to have reasonable suspicion that a person has committed a crime before you can demand and arrest somebody for a failure to ID. Now, Texas took that further by creating 3802, which then says you can only arrest somebody for failure to ID, and that is an additional charge, not its own charge. The only crime you can commit, can arrest somebody for, cannot be 3802. I found about, as I was doing research for the lawsuit video, and trying to bust up their qualified immunity, I had seen about 60 cases at the Texas Appeals Court claiming the same exact principle. I did not look at the district courts to find out how many did not make it to the appeals court because the cops didn't appeal. But it is clearly established by multiple lawsuits that the cops cannot arrest you in Texas for failure to ID yourself if you haven't already been arrested. Very clear on that. Okay, so we're going to keep fast forwarding here because the supervisor shows up.
Where are you living? That's on. Well,
Okay, so here's the supervisor.
you go to Walmart at our location and pick up the grandkids.
So they're calling the wife to pick up the son. Now, I do want you to watch this police officer's face. Okay, so here it's 12:52. So I want you to make note of that time. At 12:52, the sergeant now knows all the facts he needs to know about Jack Miller's arrest. But so they get the results back. Wait. I just noticed that Fatso here has 2 stripes on him. So what is that? A corporal in cop world? 2 stripes, though. Wow. However, did you guys? I don't know. The audio is really low on my end here, so I don't know if you guys can hear that. However, until he's been arrested for another crime, he cannot be arrested for failure to ID. Oh, okay. Fatso says, oh. And just keep an eye on Sergeant's face here. He's trying to scheme. Is there anything else we can do?
You just pulled up, we went and still walking all the way back there. Let's double check. Look up the dog ID stuff. Double check, reread it. Make sure.
So let's check the law. Okay, so let's check the law before we actually follow the law. Let's not check the law before we arrest a person unlawfully. No, let's keep somebody arrested and in the back of a police car and away from his son when we don't even know what the law says. Let's just double check my memory is correct here. So the lady cop pulls it out.
Once he's arrested, he has to identify him together. So once he contains a voluntarily to false suspicious information.
Ooh, Fatso, shut up, Fatso. Oh, crap. Sergeant's face is like, oh.
Normal hands off so far. I mean, no feet down. All right. So what are you doing? Can we explain to him that they can understanding the law, that he's free to go, however.
Oh, let's stop it before that, however. Because let's go over what he just said. Release him, let him know this was a misinterpretation of the law. So Jack knew more about the law than these stupid cops did. And he was punished for it, and they are not. They still have their jobs. They are still employed by the police. Now, if the police department had released all three of these, including Fatso, he calls him Blinky because of his blinkiness, because he's more polite than I am. But that corporal there, who was the senior person on site, misapplied the law. He misunderstood the law. So he's saying release him, tell him that this was just a misunderstanding of the law. However, also tell him this.
Always best to give your name if you've been told you've been lawfully detained.
Okay, so it's good for you to give your name because you've been lawfully detained. So again, Jack, in the future, this is where you have to just bow down to their authority, okay? Do not question their authority. Do not question the fact that they need to follow the law themselves, okay? Just bow down and obey. Kiss their boots if you have to, okay? Lick their boots clean.
Okay. Do an information report.
So it's been 5 minutes.
Yeah, sorry about that. All right. dispatch disregard that. We're gonna bring the child out here.
Bring the child out here. Jack says, screw that. I'm not sticking around to listen to your stupid crap.
Right.
Okay, so 12:52, so 6 minutes here in just a second. He's still in the car. All right, he's coming out.
What time?
You don't know who it was or someone called it. When we get these off numbers, point there, you could.
You can go that way, that's fine.
Okay, so in the back of the car for about 6 minutes, then another 30 seconds to take the cuffs off. That makes sense. 30 seconds for the cuffs. They are really tough for somebody that has a problem with working out, keeping in shape. He's going to check him for bruises.
Relax. I'm not gonna hurt you, I'm not gonna play. No. Just let me look at you.
I'm not going to hurt you again. You know what? No, you don't touch me.
Come on.
Jack, you were much better about this than I would have been.
You got it. You have misunderstanding interpretation of the law.
Okay, well that got loud on my end.
The motherfucking eagle.
Okay, your son's fixing to come out wrong.
Okay, well,
What's gonna happen is that.
is there anything I have to do from here on?
No, I was gonna let you know there's gonna be a report document everything, so you're free to go.
So he walks away before he's told he's free to go. Great job, Jack. I want to know the conversation that happens 30 minutes from now in the police car. Yeah, no, the sergeant knows that they screwed up.
Yes, ma'am.
It's a good lawsuit. It really is. I mean, I look at a lot of these lawsuits, and some of them are questionable. This one is not. Again, the only thing questionable about this is I do believe that they should have held the city liable for this interaction due to lack of training.
Oh, it's really sitting in color.
Leave it in my hood.
Look how buddy they are. All right. You let him walk away? Yeah, because he didn't commit a crime, you freaking dumbass bootlicker. All right. So, what do you guys think of that breakdown there? What do you think about the arrest? More importantly, how much should he be getting? He did not sue anybody in their official capacity. He sued the cops in their personal capacity at this time. That can still be amended. So I will definitely let you know as soon as I find out if that happens. So thank you guys for joining and have a great day.